Brielle Creighton in the 10 News Live Center. We are following breaking news right now. This is a fire that is burning at 7760 Nora Canyon Way in Thomas Hayes Lane. That is in Rancho Penasquitos. That fire appears to be burning in the brush, but you can see the smoke and the flames right now are dangerously close to several homes in that area. The fire does appear to be growing. At this point, we know that an air tanker has been called in, at least 10 fire apparatus, so that could be trucks and other equipment called in to fight this blaze. We will, of course, continue to monitor this fire, stay on top of this, and let you know about any new developments. That is the latest from the 10 News Live Center. Brielle Creighton, back to you.
And Brielle, we're going to stay with this for a moment because, as you said, those flames look like they are creeping up that canyon toward the back of those homes. And we know it's so early on that we haven't even seen that the firefighters, there's the first one we've seen so far. We've got a helo on it. So that is great news there. They're going to try to make a stand there behind those homes while the crews then on the ground can get in place behind those homes.
Copter 1 and 2, as Brielle mentioned, are on this. That's one of the drops right there. And clearly from the white smoke, they've made some effort to try and put some of that fire out. We were looking at pictures just a little bit earlier, and Sky 10 will hopefully zoom in here in just a minute. But that canyon is pretty deep right there. The only good thing about that is you can see the smoke as it kind of blows there. There's not a lot of wind right now, which is going to help those firefighters at this point. That's the scary part when we get into these October months and the possibility of Santa Ana winds. There's not a whole lot of wind, and it's deep down in that canyon. But as we kind of slowly move around here, and here comes another drop.
This is great.
Yeah, this is perfect timing for this to drop right on that at this point. But you can see how deep that is and how incredibly thick the brush is. And the other good thing about it is you can see the trail that goes through there. So if firefighters have to get down in there, it's going to be easy for them at least a little bit to get access right into it, because that is such thick, heavy brush. And
right now we're just getting the advisories, and they are saying that at this point they don't feel that those structures are being threatened. That means that those firefighters that you see right there, you see some of the trucks behind this car. There was one just off screen now, and there was one right in front of that house on the lower right corner. So they're beginning to kind of get where they need to be. They are getting the airdrops on it now, and it's a deep canyon, so it is down in that canyon near the trail, which coincidentally for so many of us that see these fires pop up throughout the years in San Diego, so many of them start just like this. It's right off of a trail in a canyon, started by someone in the area doing something to be determined later. But what's really good about this is that the quick reaction from the air, and it just looks, though this is totally unconfirmed, but to our eye, it looks like they're getting a really quick handle on this before it got anywhere near the structure.
This is Rancho Penasquitos, as we mentioned. Let's go back to Brielle Creighton to give us a better idea exactly where this is in the community. Brielle?
Right, we want to situate you. We had been watching this fire burning from above, but here is the actual street. This is Nora Canyon Way right here. This is Thomas Hayes Lane as the cross street where this ends in what looks like a dead end or a cul-de-sac street. That fire is actually burning right here in the back in this canyon area. Right now, as you said, they're saying right now that it's not a threat to these homes, but you can see this fire. This is the area where it's burning very close to these homes right here. We'll send it back to you.
All right, and Pat Brown is just stepping into the 10 News Pinpoint Weather Center. She's been over there at the computers looking at the wind and the other atmospheric conditions we have in this heat right now. Pat, what's it like there in Rancho Penasquitos?
Well, obviously it's very, very hot in Rancho Penasquitos right now. It is 89 degrees at the current time. Earlier it was a little bit warmer than that, but still we're in the pretty much the heat of the day, even though it's going on 6 o'clock. Humidity is what we're really worried about. The vegetation, what we call the fuel moisture in this canyon, very dry. Humidity right now in Rancho Penasquitos down to 13%. Luckily, the winds are very light right now, only at 6 miles an hour. You can see the smoke. It looks like it's pretty much going straight up. So we're not seeing some even moderate Santa Ana winds, although we are under high pressure, which is why our temperatures are so far above average. In Rancho Penasquitos this time of year, we should be in the upper 70s. And as I said, right now, the current temperature is a very hot 89 degrees. So with that dry vegetation, it will continue to burn, but at least we've got light winds. So that will help firefighters get a better handle on this. Yeah,
true. Not far from the Lake Hodges area, some of the other areas where those copters can get to water very quickly and get right back to this location. And again, just to the top of your screen right there, you can see where the trail comes in. So again, this is still so very early on. that's where firefighters will be able to access and get right in there. Once again, we understand that there are 10 fire apparatus units that are part of this, and Copter 1 and 2 as well.
And the white smoke is a good sign, but it's not the telltale. There we go. We have another copter drop there, and that's great. It's between the homes and the fire. But what's interesting with this is there's obviously a canopy of all those trees in the area, and we can see the flames still going, going in that area, but it's under the canopy. There's just so much green trees in the area. And Riel Creighton is in the live center from the newsroom. Riel, what are you hearing is the latest on this fire?
Well, Kim, we just got off the phone with fire officials. This is the new information that we have for you. Right now, it's about a 1/4 acre large. They're saying it has medium to light fuel to burn, but obviously you see there are a lot of trees in the area. Right now, though, they say it is a slow rate of spread, and once again, they are confirming to us that no homes in that area are being threatened.
That's
Okay,
great
yeah.
news.
And it's difficult to tell from this angle, but those trees are pretty tall that are down there. You're talking about 10 to 12-foot trees that are in there. And again, as Pat was mentioning, this is an area this area clearly has not burned in some time, so there's a lot of dry vegetation in there. We haven't had a whole lot of rain. Of course, we're right in the middle of this California drought, so all it would take would just be a little bit of wind to pick up and go in there. But again, that's the good thing. It looks like there's not much wind at all. It's down deep in that canyon, but this is why it's important. As you can see, the backside of those homes, to cut back that vegetation and create that break there if the fire does come up.
Take a lot of water drops because you got to get under all that foliage, under the trees, as they kind of provide almost an umbrella for these drops. And while it's slowing it, and certainly it's going in the right direction, it also is something that really has to be watched. But if they can get it to the point where they've got it controlled, then the ground crews and the trucks and the guys with all the shovels will be able to go in there and do that work. As this is the 4th drop that we've seen coming from the left side of your screen now, just since we went live on this fire, and you will see that they're going to just make that line. It's a line that they want drawn so that it will stop it, and they will keep it and contain it. And then as they contain it, they can then move right on top of the smaller, less threatening flames. They won't be going toward the homes, and then that way they can get it out.
Clearly, as you mentioned, with that being the 4th drop that we've watched here in just the last 4 or 5 minutes or so, they're coming from a reservoir that's pretty close. So they're getting those drops in pretty easily. And again, we still have not seen ground crews go in there as of yet. We know that they're on scene and probably protecting those homes in case that fire were to come up the canyon right now, but they're not actually down in the canyon. At least we haven't seen that as of yet. And as Kim mentioned, white smoke is always a good thing. You'd much rather see that than the black smoke, because the white smoke means that they're starting to make some sort of progress on it and beginning to pull it out. But again, 5:45 in the afternoon, you can see people down on the ground starting to get the word and starting to look out there. And of course, those people who live right there on the canyon are probably very concerned as well.
And an observation that you just made is what we saw in May. When they're in the deep canyons and it's a rugged area, but there is a trail, and it's a trail big enough to get a truck in, they know the trucks can get there quickly. They don't move the trucks into the canyon at first. They go up to the homes, they park up in the neighborhoods, and they're ready for anything that may come their way, but they're letting the air attack work. They don't even need the trucks to be so close to the air attack that they just can't coordinate with each other. So they let the air attack work. Once they get it where they want it, they move the trucks in closer than they would be in view to where our Sky 10 is giving us this picture, and then the trucks would be able to do what they need to do.
Just a real quick update. If you're just joining us right here on 10 News at 5:47, you're looking at what we understand is about a 1/4 acre brush fire that's burning right now in the Los Penasquitos Canyon. There is one of Copter 1 or 2 that is now making a drop. That's the 5th drop that we've seen here in about the last 6 or 7 minutes. This is medium to light fuel, as you can see, a lot of green in there, but underneath all that is a lot of very dry vegetation. Right smack in the middle of that, you can see a hiking trail that goes through there, so it's very accessible for fire crews. We understand that at least 10 fire apparatus have also been called into this, along with Copter 1 and 2 that I mentioned. and they're fighting this canyon in the Los Penasquitos Canyon area right now, right off of North Canyon Way and Thomas Hayes Lanes.
And we have been told, and they are continuing to put out information for us in these bulletins that are coming out in the advisories, that the homes that you're seeing up there at this point are not threatened. They do not consider them threatened. So they know how they're going to attack it. They went into early attack within moments of us seeing the smoke. Already we had Hilo 1 and 2 making the water drops, and it's working, and their coordination is exactly the way they need it to be right now for this fire in Rancho Penasquitos. Riel Creighton is in the live center right now with information.
Right, you guys have been talking about this right now. We know that fire is about a quarter acre, but as you guys are talking about, they seem to have it maybe contained to this area, although there is a lot of brush fire and a lot of fuel here, or rather medium fuel to burn, but the fire is burning in the back of these homes here. That is just off North Canyon Way and Hayes Lane. Right now you're looking at an image of the street, I believe, right there. Firefighters again saying no homes, though. Those homes that you're seeing there and that smoke that seems to be hazing over in the air, those homes are not being threatened by that fire. We'll send it back to you.
That's the good news, and it looks like crews are starting to get a handle. Of course, we're going to continue to monitor this fire that's burning right now in the Los Penasquitos Canyon, and we'll be back right after this. Stay with us.